Okay. Yeah, let me take a sip as well. Sip of my water.
I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good.
Oh, I thought we were clinking.
Yeah, that is exactly what we're doing. And
Oh,
saying the
okay.
pledge together. Obvi. How else are you going to
Well,
activate the map?
no. Okay, then I have to say it with you. Hold on. Come. I solemnly swear that I'm up to no
That
good.
I'm up to no good.
The nonest of goodies.
Ta-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay. All right. When you're ready, count us in,
Oh,
madame.
oh, I've put this mic in the worst possible position. I'm just gonna sit here, bang my head against it. All right,
You can.
Labs, let's take our job seriously. Okay.
All right. Let me know when you're ready to go.
Shall I count us in? Okay. Ready?
Hi.
How you doing, my flabby flabby?
Okay. Why are you shaking your head? It's true.
Hello.
Before we dive in, now I'm ready. Hello, and welcome once again to Quality Control Podcast, your fun and friendly quality controlling podcast, I suppose, in which we attempt to dissect pop media that we enjoy. We are in the final segment of talking about Arcane, and we're never going to talk about Arcane ever again. We're looking at season 2, Act 3, episodes 7 to 9. Hello, Fee. How are you doing?
Hey, flabby. I'm good, but my voice may be a bit odd today. Also, Valentine is here, and
Ah,
he says hello.
Valentino, what's up,
Look at
G?
his little paws. He
Little
brings us a
Casanova.
gift of
What?
beans.
Uh,
Beans.
Look at his face. He's like, yeah. I remember when you first got him and he wasn't as comfortable as this. So it's lovely to see. Yeah. That is like,
He's
I
come a
love this
long way.
lady. He's come a long way. I feel like he's not as loud, at least when we're recording, the last few times that we have.
Yeah, so he loves my other best friend, who lives with me.
Mm,
And so usually he sits in her room and nobody bothers him there. It's next to the radiator, it's her fluffy
yeah.
bed. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a happy cat. Like, he has no complaints.
Good. That means you're doing a good job. Well done. Congratulations. You ready for this?
I hope so. I feel like last week it wasn't so ready.
I mean, yeah, we're coming back from a hiatus, so a
Yeah,
little rough
yeah.
around the edges.
We
Yeah, yeah.
were we
So,
were rusty and rough. But you know what? Because of how I feel about Act 2 of Arcane, I feel like this pacing,
mm.
it fits thematically, tonally
Wait,
with
what
season
pacing is
2 of
that?
Arcane.
What pacing is
A
that?
little bit like we were gold, we were solid gold, and then we were a little bit rough in the middle. And I think now we're going to be, I don't want to jinx it. I'm going to touch wood.
Your head is made of wood, my guy. That mic is not wood.
Thank you, Hlabi.
Go touch wood. Okay. No, when I say touch wood, I hunt for wood. I'm like, where is it? I must literally touch. Yeah, it's a problem.
Right, there's literally a wooden bookcase behind me. You see this?
Yeah, but you start with your head. But can you take us through the housekeeping, Fia?
I can do my best. All right, so we are trying to get out there. We're trying to do the things that make the pots. That is a deep cut South African meme. And the best way that we know how to do that is to post on social media. So we'd love you if you could give us a follow on any of the apps that we are connected to. We, for some reason, have a Twitter. We also have an Instagram and a TikTok, and now a YouTube channel.
Oh, we
Yes,
will
which
also
might
soon
be
have
where
a
you're
blue
watching
sky.
this.
Sorry. We will also
Yeah,
have a blue sky
we gotta
soon.
blue sky that shit.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna have a blue sky
yeah.
soon. Where can they find us on
Right.
these
So you can
platforms, or
find us
how?
at Quality Control Pod. Quality Control Pod. Now, control is spelt CNTRL. No O's in that control.
And our
Quality
email?
Control Pod. And our email. Oh, yeah. So, particularly, this is my shtick. Because if you listen to us and you want to make us laugh because we made you laugh, send us memes. You can also DM them to us. Like our DMs are always open. But send us memes. Okay. Thank you. Our email is qualitycontrol.podcast11@gmail.com.
11 because that's my favorite number. Let's go. All right. Thanks for that, Fee. Hmm. Um, Overview. Jumping straight into it, trimming the fat is our new thing. Overview of episodes 7 to 9. This might be a bit longer than normal. There's a lot that goes on in the last act. Dimension and time travel. We finally find out what happened to Jace, Echo, and Heimerdinger. Jace is teleported by the Hex anomaly to an apocalyptic Piltover, where Hextech has killed everyone and everything. Guided by a mysterious hooded stranger, Jace makes his way, with a broken leg, to the center of the destruction. A journey that likely took years. Upon arrival, he vows that if he is sent back, he will destroy Hextech once and for all. Armed with the Hextech anomaly imbued staff, the silent stranger obliges. Meanwhile, a dazed and confused Echo arrives in a dimension where Zorn and Piltover are at peace and engage in open trade. People's lives are full of markets, art, and inventing. Echo is brought up to speed by Heimerdinger, who arrived roughly 4 years before him, tells him they cannot go home because Hextech hasn't been invented. Not to be deterred, Echo enlists the help of his girlfriend, Jinx, and creates a new version of Hextech, leaving behind his resurrected friends and the rest in peace. Sorry, leaving behind his resurrected friends and the rest in peace Vi of this world, Echo returns to his own dimension, but not before sharing a kiss with his would-be love Powder and a final sacrifice by his mentor Heimerdinger. In episode 7, both Jace and Mal have returned to Piltover. Mal, with her new powers as a mage, seemingly aligned with the Order of the Black Rose, a secret sect of sorcerers. They are attacked by an automaton controlled by the now cosmic Victor in the rebuilt council room. Alerted to the threat, Jace calls for unity between the two cities in the coming civil war. Most decline, but some Zornites heed the call. Meanwhile, Jinx, who did not resist arrest by the Piltovan guard, locks Vi in her cell when her sister tries to convince her to fight with them. She declares that her path is chosen, thinking herself broken, and leaves to protect her sister from herself. Mal and Ambessa reunite, and Mal learns that her mother sacrificed her brother's life in order to save Mal from the clutches of the Black Rose. She then shows Mal her ultimate plan to win. Using the Doctor's apex shimmer that flows through Beast Vander's body, they will boost Victor's abilities and create an immortal army to first take over Piltover, then take the fight to the Black Rose. Vander dies, and Victor ascends. The final chapter begins with the now returned Echo using his time loop device to convince Jinx to not take her own life. We then cut to the siege of Piltover in full swing. With the tide against them, Jinx makes a signature dramatic and colorful entrance with the firelights and Zornites that temporarily stems the tide while Jace attempts to disable the Hex Core. However, the now freaky looking Victor arrives to foil his plan and begins to convert everyone in sight into immortal soldiers. Jinx and Vi take on the possessed corpse of Vander, while Caitlyn and Mal tag team against Ambessa. They beat her and the Black Rose, which is sudden as fuck, and Mal is acknowledged as the new wolf of House Medada. With everybody caught in Victor's spell, Echo uses his loop device to disrupt it, and we see that the mysterious mage has been Victor all along. Jace shows Freaky Victor the conversation he had with him and the promise he made to stop Victor. Together, they reverse all that Victor has done, sacrificing themselves. Jinx saves Vi from the still rabid Vander, sacrificing herself as well, going out how she wanted. As the city mourns in the aftermath, a new council consisting of Piltovans and Zornites is formed. Mal leaves with the Medardar fleet, and Vi and Caitlyn settle together. The end. Boom, boom. All right. Thoughts on the act, Feeya? Did you like it?
Thoughts, thoughts. My first major thought is that it's so much stronger than Act Two, despite the fact that there's so much going on that uh, we've got like years or months worth of things compressed into like a single 40-minute episode. There's some really, really good storytelling that's going on in Act Three, specifically in comparison to Act Two, you know?
Mm. When you say stronger, what exactly would you identify as being stronger, story wise?
So I complained last week about the fact that Act Two went music montage, theme song, music montage.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that in all three episodes consistently, giving us very little grounded emotion time with the characters. And with this act, despite the fact that they gave us vignettes of things that were happening, specifically when you talk about Jace and his time in that alternate reality, all you have of him are vignettes because he's not talking to anybody. There's no like information that's verbally passed, but we get the moments. We see his failures, we see his struggles, we see the like need, the drive behind his eyes when he finally gets up and starts going. And I felt that that lacked from Act Two, and it was like a glaring lack as well, because we know that they only plan to make two seasons. I think they even talk about it in the documentary that they only ever plan to make two seasons. So it just seems like they couldn't figure out how to tie things up in Act Two, or how to get things to a place where they could tie it up in Act Three without the gimmicks of montages. If that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. And I think crucially, there's the difference between montages and vignettes. You know, um, yeah, there was so much communicated, particularly like you say in Jace's moments. Such good, it's just good writing and good storytelling. I love storytelling when there's no dialogue, but it conveys everything we need to know from the story and progresses it. Um, you you like the Madada conclusion, yes? Whereas I don't think I do, or
I
the way it
like
was
it with
told.
with the caveat, yes,
Yeah.
that. So I like that we finally get some answers. Um, it's clear as mud, those answers.
Mm,
Uh, but what I liked about it is that for that mother-daughter relationship, because there was that she kept accusing Mel in season one of not being wolf enough, of not being Medada enough, of not being ruthless enough. And the kind of bluff that Mel pulls off that is every bit Medada warrior and scheming Mel. Because that's
mm,
that's her forte. She schemes. She's really good at that.
yeah.
And she not only like bests her mother, but she also bests the Black Rose. And so that
Mm,
kind of ending, like it was a bittersweet ending for her relationship with her mother. Storytelling wise, I don't think they did a great job with explaining to us what the fuck actually happened there.
Yeah. I think she's the most underserved character in season two as a whole. When you look at the story in completion, yeah, she's the most underwritten, or her story is the most feels the most underwritten. Yeah, so yeah, it concluded and yeah, like you're right, we got the answers, but I didn't like her story the way it was told. It's going back to last week, um, your thing of what was it now? Of maybe needing more. Like if she had half an episode where we see more of the sense of the Black Rose being a deceiver. We see her realizing that perhaps, or having an inkling, just a bit more of that journey, because that was sudden. When the final fight with her mom and she releases the Black Rose, and Black Rose's power reveals that I've got this ally here, and they go into like that Black Rose sort of world. Yeah, that was just so quick. Where she's like, deceiver. And the Black Rose like, oh, clever child, and you're just like, okay, cool, 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 cool. And does the Black Rose actually die, or does she just defeat in that moment? Because then at the end we see the crow with the three eyes, the Black Rose crow is like flying around, and that was interesting because I know the spin-offs, and I'm wondering if that's going to be the spin-off is like Mal's journey, um, fighting them. And perhaps if that is the case, maybe that's why they were okay to sort of rush it because like we will flesh it out. But without those answers, I'm like, meh, this is the weakest portion of the show. Yeah, yeah.
Same
What else?
page.
Same page. Before we get to
Mhm.
a thing I like, what else did you like about the episode
So like in
or act? Sorry.
with what we just talked about in mind, I think that everything sort of had a plausibly satisfying ending. Like, yes, they definitely could have done a better job with a lot of the beats, the moments, the emotions, the meanings of certain plot points. But from what we got, apart from the non-clarity of Mel and Bessa, blah blah blah, I think everything kind of sort of did tie itself up
Mm,
fine at the end, you know. Um, excuse me, Jinx and Vi kind of making up, and then Jinx redeeming herself. That was, you know, like a good ending. It didn't feel like out of left field or anything like that.
yeah.
Jinx and sorry, Vi and Caitlyn making up seems also like a good. Like I believe it. Like I think the question is in the previous act. So now that now that we're in the third act, I'm not like, how did this get fixed? Now I'm like, okay, because other things have happened after the moment they decided to forgive each other. That I'm like, yes, I believe this now.
Mm,
The Jace and um, Victor solution. I think I sort of said at the end of season one that the person who gave Jace the gem was Jace himself. I didn't realize that Victor would be with him and it would be like a two thing, and they're now all over time and space and giving each other these things.
yeah.
So I liked that this was how I was wrong. Like it still
Mm,
was in the same vein of what I thought it was, but like there was a layer that I wasn't expecting, and that was really nice. And I appreciated that layer. They seemed to find understanding of something together. Jace seems to, well, maybe not Jace, mostly Echo kind of helps Victor come back to his humanity.
yeah. Yeah, that scene was cool. Yeah, Victor being the mage in season one when Jace was a child, who saved him and sort of set him on the path to Hex Tech to ultimately have him be the one to destroy Hex Tech was really cool. It's a nice little loop and ties into the loop device that Echo has. Um, I really liked that. I mean, episode seven, I think, is the best of the season, which we agree. And as you had said, everybody's favorite in our private chats, like everybody loves episode seven. You're not unique, Shalabi. Um, I like that he saw. what could have been, and not just got to see it, but got to live it. And it's almost he got to say the thing. He got to say goodbye in a way. He got to say the things that were unsaid to Powder slash Jinx. And so while he's grieving at the end, we see in the final scene when the city of mourning with this beautiful ceremony where they burn the names of those fallen during the fight. And I think it's very clear that he's burning Jinx's name. He's somber, but I know it lacked it lacked a bit of the bitterness in the bittersweet, if that makes sense, because he got to have his moment with a genuine, elongated moment. He got to live with her. He got to work with her. He had a life with her for a time and completed this
I
arc
think
for
it's
himself.
really beautiful as well that that episode is called like it's the first time.
Yes, 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 exactly. Yeah. Fuck, I'm thinking about it now and just smiling big. It's so good. It's so good. So warm and fuzzy.
I've got
And
goosebumps now, actually.
and the bumps of the goose. Um, and just before I forget, I really liked, at least for me, I cared about the side characters that were introduced in this episode, really. Who the Zornites who went to go fight and then lost their lives. I was like it just did that thing of of what war can do, and I felt for the families and I felt for the victims who fought for something they believed in, and it was affecting, particularly the first time I watched it was like, damn, yeah, they got me to care about these people who never spoke. None of them had any dialogue, and I think in full the ones we saw primarily, the blue haired black lady and the man who went to go fight for his family. In this episode, I think it was 30 seconds of screen time combined for both.
Are you
And I mean,
talking
I know we
about when you get
saw
to see her working at the last drop?
so no, I'm talking the last episode particularly of how little screen time they had, and we cared for them. But yeah, she was seeded throughout the season. She was in the prison break. She's in the alternate dimension. Yeah, working the last drop and being a musician, and so we got to know her in those ways. Again, when you include that, I think it brings it up to about not even a minute of screen time. Actually, I would say maybe 50 something seconds in the whole season, and I cared about that person when she lost her life, and the way she lost her life as well, so human, holding Vi's hand. Again, didn't say anything, but you could see the fear in her eyes and the tears as she died, and then her death, as death is very sudden, she just went limp. And yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm getting sad.
Yeah.
Um,
What else did you like?
what else did I like? I liked the and this feeds into the themes that we'll talk later, this idea of second chances and redemption. But I like that Jace got to right the wrong that Heimerdinger had warned him about. And this thing, it worked in two ways. That in season one, I could get why Heimerdinger was eventually distrusted and banished. That Yoda thing of being so old that you don't see the forest for the trees. And so it made sense, that arc, but also Heimerdinger was right because he was seeing the forest, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not seeing the trees because there will be no fucking trees if you do this thing." And so I really like that. Yeah, Jace got the opportunity to correct that. Mm. You're not like I said a thing there. Mm.
There will be no fucking trees. Yeah. Yeah. But also, like, there's no way that anybody could have seen the alternate reality that Jace had to be in. Like, there was no way that you can conceive that that was going to happen. And it also, like, makes it so real world, our world. Like, there's no way that at the time of the Industrial Revolution they could have understood what they were doing by creating smog or mass deforestation as they were doing. There was no way they could have foreseen that. giving them the benefit of the doubt, I assume. They didn't have the technology in the 1800s. I don't know. Maybe some people saw it. Maybe there's I'm discounting ancient knowledge, which again is what makes Heimerdinger so like his point of view is so important in that moment because he's got that tradition. He's lived thousands of years or hundreds of years, I forget,
Hundreds.
hundreds of years. But that is the thing. Like we always tend to discount traditional knowledge, and we're always looking at like the few steps ahead because that's all we as humans can perceive, right? So
Yeah.
that whole like that conclusion, as you say, yes, yes, he couldn't see the forest for the trees because he saw no trees
Yeah.
and no forest.
Yeah. Just desolation. Quickly, let's get to some of your last things that you liked.
Yeah, Slabs, we mentioned it kind of in the last episode, but we didn't talk
Yeah.
about music.
Right. Yeah. I think it's not just the music, but the placement. The placement of the music. The songs are great, but the timing of them. Yeah. Go on. Give us your take.
I mean, you've got all my heavy hitters. You've got New Linkin Park with their new vocalist. You've got Ash Nico. I am in the 0.00001% of her listeners on Spotify. I feel like I deserve concert tickets for that. But fucking, she made the Jinx song. She made the Jinx song. Bruh. You've got Stray Kids in there. You've got French songs, Spanish songs. You've got
K-pop or
Raja,
Korean?
what's her name? Yeah, K-pop, the Stray Kids. You've got
Oh.
fucking I can never remember her name. Raja something. Hold on, it's important, so I will look it up. Raja Kumari. She's got the song. You know when in Arc 2 where Savika and Jinx are fighting and she like switches the arm, not in Arc 2, in Arc 1, where she switches the arm. The song that plays is a Raja Kumari song.
Hmm.
And it's just like you've brought so many different styles of music in and you fit them into the show and it works. I've had this soundtrack on repeat on Spotify for the last 3 months. And I don't have premium. So I've been listening to it with ads, you guys. That's how dedicated I've been. Spotify without premium does not work. It stops in the middle of a song. It will start playing the song that it was playing you 2 days ago, that it like stopped playing so that it could play you music that works. that people have paid to promote. Yeah, so I've been dedicated in my listening to this album because it's so good.
I could never. You ads. I could never. I could never. Like for context, last year music and podcast combined. I think I listened to 19. I listened to over 19,000 minutes of Spotify. I could never with ads. I would. Oh my gosh, no, that would destroy me. You are a warrior, and I salute you. Yeah.
It's not even the ads that bother me, despite the fact that they repeat themselves twice. You know, they don't just play you the ad; they play you the ad and then they play the ad again.
Back to
It's
back, like
that,
YouTube
yeah.
ads. Fuck.
No,
Fuck
the
you, or
same
not
ad,
you, but
two
them.
ads, the same ad twice. Yeah, Spotify, check your shit.
Jeez, that's
Yeah, they
that's
try and make it
sinful.
unusable. They really do try and make it unusable.
Mm.
They're
Mm.
smart. Anyway, talk to me about
Yes.
the music, which is
Um.
like a standout track as itself, not like in the show, but like, is there a standout track for you?
What have they done to us? By gosh, is it Gray and someone? It's two people. Give me one moment. Let me just go to my Spotify premium family package. Actually, yes,
Oh, oh,
I've,
flex.
I've got that guap. I don't speak Japanese. I speak guapanese. No, I'm broke as fuck. Um, I was listening to it recently. Naturally, where is it now? It should be in my recents. Here we go. It is What Have They Done to Us by, oh gosh, I skipped it. By Marco and Gray. Um,
Where's that one go?
really good. Oh, it's the one that plays during the, I think it's during the hug in Act Two, underground, when they hug Vanda. When Vi and Vanda are fighting initially, and then she drops the
Huh.
gauntlets. That song comes in just after as they're hugging.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they did good. They did really
They
good.
did
They
so
did good, good.
good. Gosh, I also like Remember Me. Remember Me is really good.
Uh
Just yeah, just and I think
yeah.
it's because I like David. He did just his music in general. I listened to David. He did Cyberpunk 2027, not 2027, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the anime. The one of the title songs in the one of the rather signature songs in the series, also by David, spelled with a four instead of an A. And yeah, but I mean, there's a bunch, man. There's also I Can't Hear It Now by Freya Writings. Mwah. Again, they're all really good though. So yeah, Paint the Town by Ashniko, who is Jinx in terms of aesthetic. It's just she looks like that.
She really is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
She's had blue hair for like most of her career now.
really.
Yeah.
In my mind, I still remember her with the pink, but I haven't listened to her in a while. So yeah, uh, that's how the music is. Yeah, the music is great. Um, my last thing that I want to talk about, I like Jinx also getting her redemption, and that like Echo stopping her from going out sad the way she was like depressed. She was depressed, you know. Trigger warning, she was suicidal and was like, I'm worthless in this world, and was gonna detonate herself with a grenade. And if he didn't have his looping device, she'd be gone. And she kept trying actually with him there. She's like that. I don't want to say so far gone, but so within that she in that moment of despair, she wasn't even considering that I'm taking Echo with me
Mm.
until like
Yeah.
the third or fourth time that he's stopping her. The something I forgot what he said exactly, but I think that triggers her that she's like, oh shit, yeah, he's here. So she tries to leap off. Um, and then to leap off and then kill herself. And then he does it again. And this time, instead of just trying to talk to Nana, he just sits down. He's like, "Can I just have a moment before my friend blows us up?" And then she really stops there and listens to him. That's the opening of the last episode. So I really like. She went out to save her sister, but was also on her own terms. Because I think keeping to reality, Jinx wouldn't have been okay. Yes, she came through at the end of the day, and pre-bought the cavalry. But I think after all was said and done, and they defeat Victor and they stop the whole thing, I don't think she would have been okay. And that's not to glorify the act that she was trying at the beginning, but I think she felt now there's a better sense of purpose in going out the way she did, because now it's not just I'm despair and I'm feeling useless. Now I feel like I'm doing something positive, and that is doing what my sister has been trying to do for me for years now. And that yeah, so she takes out the Rabbit Vander slash Warwick. That's his name in the games. And yeah, because he's like Vander's dead, and he was just a puppet of Victor. And when Victor and Jace do their thing, he's still this crazed beast that is trying to kill Vi. And yeah, Jinx stops that, and I really like, again, like you said, the way things were tied up for everybody except Caitlyn. But that's personal. On my front was tied up really well. Yeah. Any last things for you, or any comments on that?
Yeah, on the topic of Caitlyn, I'm sorry, but this is for all my sapphic girlies. But Kate, I don't care.
Oh, in the cell when they get it
Ooh,
on. That was hot.
Oh no, but like forget the actual like sex that they have.
No, no, I'm saying the
It's
line.
that
That was hot.
moment.
Yeah, that was hot.
It's not just the delivery of it's the moment that they
Hmm.
like Kate is like, oh fuck, I fucked up and I need to confess, and Vi is like, I don't. It's like it's been a long time, my whole life basically. Here we are. Move,
Mm.
kiss me. You know,
Yeah.
like the need, the desire, the like the culmination of all the shit that these characters have been through together. Kate, I don't care. Oh, ugh. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
You look like a mad scientist. The culmination for the
See, this is
need.
why I don't watch Bridgerton. I can't, I can't do with yearning.
Yeah, from what I just saw now, you'd explode. You'd explode. So oh my
Can't
gosh,
do it.
get to it
Won't do it.
already. Especially season one. Because season one, bruh, that shit drags for like three, I think 3, 4 episodes. It was like yearning. And then they do the thing, like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I love Bridgerton. I haven't finished season three because I think I've mentioned before, I'm like my mother, in which I get too into things. So there's certain stuff that like I have to be careful when I'm watching and whatnot because like my disbelief gets so suspended, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, now I'm embarrassed, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh my gosh, ooh. And so part two, I haven't watched part two of season three of Bridgerton because I'm just like, her secrets are being revealed. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. Oh no, so I still haven't watched it in like 6 months. Yeah, I need to get back to that. Any last thing that you like? Or was that
Now
it?
I think we've got to move on to
We're moving on.
themes.
Okay. Yeah. Cut that fat. Okay, so themes. Themes that I saw in this last arc, in this last arc, um, which I mentioned a few minutes ago or earlier, is second chances and redemption. Um, yeah, Jace, Victor, Echo, Jinx. Excuse me, the council, citizens of Polto, the whole thing is just, it ends off right with this giant second chance for the city. And even as the final shot we see is that ship flying off, right? And what was the big thing in season one was the Hex Gates have given us so much progress, and our finances and our very livelihood is now tied to this. What will we do and be without the Hex Gates? And it's like, no, you'll actually be fine. Particularly when the alternative became so much worse. So yeah, second chances and redemption was a theme throughout. I mean, the first episode of the act, episode 7, has spoken about the alternate dimensions, a beautiful, a beautiful representation of that idea of second chances. Yeah. Any thoughts there?
So I'm struggling. So usually it's me that leads the theme chat for us,
Hmm.
but I was struggling to like figure out. And so shout out Jake Harrison, one of my fellow cast members at the Bear Show, who also is a big fan of Arcane, of the series. Um, and he pointed out that there's a lot of forgiveness in that concluding chapter.
Hmm.
Like forgiveness of self, I think is such a big one. Specifically, if you're looking at Jinx, like she does decide, like, I forgive myself. I can move on. I think that it happens it happens in a moment where she looks down and she wants Vi to live. I think that's when Jinx forgives herself.
Hmm.
Before she even jumps to save her sister, I think that's the moment where she's like, I could actually walk away from this and live a better life. I could
Hmm.
make amends.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. You see it with Jace and Victor as well in their moment, forgiving themselves.
Yeah. I think you also you eventually see it with Mel as she kind of leaves, and she goes back to Noxus, right?
I think so. Yeah, with the
And I
army.
think she has to kind of forgive not only her mother, but the legacy that she and her mother have created for themselves, you know?
Hmm.
And she has to have a little letting go before she can go back to her homeland. And by the fact that she does go there, you can see that that's happened. There's also like characters forgiving each other.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, Kate, I don't care. That's just like I forgave you ages ago. Let's fuck. Um, um, Vi, I think she also did forgive more of Caitlin as she was sitting in Jinx's cell. I think that's probably when she unpacked a lot of the like Caitlin's actions. And I think it's
Hmm.
there in that moment while she was by herself in jail again that she really saw Caitlin's perspective, and that's where she forgave her. I think Caitlin also tries to forgive Jinx. They have that conversation about um, whether Jinx or not would whether Jinx would have or wouldn't have shot the tower if she'd known that Caitlin's mother was there. They talk very
Hmm.
frankly about it would have changed nothing.
Yeah.
And I think Kate forgives her anyway because she's like, it wasn't personal.
Yeah. It was for a bigger cause.
Mm.
Um, I think also, yeah, Caitlin getting more of the sense of perspective as she was being all fascist and started to regret it of like, shit, I'm ruining lives. And that's what they were fighting for. And I'm now doing it with a heavier hand and on a bigger scale. Just quickly say, I feel like similar to the moment you mentioned that Jinx had just before she sacrificed herself for forgiving herself. I think Mel's happens when she looks at her mother and she says, "A wolf shows no mercy." And that thing of, I accept your teachings. You were right, and I see it in this moment. And so I will be a Medard and I will be your daughter and do what your daughter would do. And she didn't show any mercy to her mother and then to the Black Rose as well, showing herself. What does Ambessa call her? A fox. And Mel is that encapsulation of a wolf and a fox. And yeah, so I feel like that's her moment of forgiving herself and forgiving her mother as well. Mm,
Yeah, that's a
nice.
good point. I didn't pick that up. Okay,
Listen. Okay.
so you asked an interesting question,
Yeah.
which I think you actually answered last week, but
For
go ahead
myself,
and
yeah.
ask your question. Yeah.
So yeah, for you, looking at just what we've seen in this arc, um, is this what you suspected for the series?
No, it's not.
Cool. Let's move on. Yeah. Elaborate.
Um, I think you already put the nail on the head. It's like you didn't know where it was going. And I think because of the volume, the content that we had to like grapple with, it was really difficult to see, knowing that the end point was coming and that they couldn't leave anything left open. It was like reading the last two chapters of the book when they're still in the middle of the war, but it's the last book of the series. There's
Yes.
200 pages left. How are you wrapping this up so quickly? And then they do, and you're
Yes.
like, oh,
Like, oh
oh, okay,
shit,
cool.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had that experience recently. I finished the Diver Bird series, and it was this epic of like thousands of years of hatred and like murder and genocide, and in the last 300 pages everything just kind of fixed. Not fixed, but like concluded.
Yeah.
And it was very satisfying. And I mean, I've already said that I felt that way about Act 3, Season 2 of Arcane. Um, but there was no way to guess that this is where it would have ended up.
Hmm.
Um, Again, because we knew so little about Mel, and I feel like the whole Mel plotline was underdeveloped.
Yeah.
But again, they might be focusing on Noxus in their spin-off. So
Hmm.
maybe that's what they're saving it for. But for everything else, I could not have seen that Jinx would die.
Yeah. And particularly, I mean, we'll get to partly why with our next question. But yeah, I also
Mm,
didn't see Jinx dying.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw her becoming maybe not the next Silco, but I definitely saw her being an echo figure.
Mm. Hmm. It's a, I, but in some ways, I feel like maybe that would have been even more tragic in the sense of what we saw in episode 7, because I'm not sure their relationship would have progressed in that way if Jinx had lived. I mean, we never know, but I couldn't see it, with everything that had happened in the circumstance of their dimension. So yeah, maybe it's all for the best. Before I forget,
I, yes.
yeah, no, sorry, I was gonna move on
I
to
don't think
something
they would
really
have
quickly.
ended up in a relationship. I think that she would have been, the figure that Echo is for his firelights. Like it's
Yes.
him that united that community. I think she would move into doing some kind of meaningful work in that regard.
Mm. But
I don't
there's
think that the two of them would have ended up together. Maybe after
no, I don't
years
think
and
so
years and
either.
years and years.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before I forget, I was completely wrong. The one prediction I had of Savika getting a new arm, I think I was confusing the fact that she'd gotten that arm earlier from Jinx, and I was like, oh, it's gonna happen again. And no, that lady went into battle. I think she had fixed like a blade to the arm when she went into battle, just like put a crude blade in. And then when she's at the council meeting at the end, which yeah, that's how they conclude in terms of Piltover and Zorn, they create the council together, and she's there with just a cape over absence. Just like a flat sign. You're like, cool, 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 cool. Yes, I was completely wrong. So just wanted to own up to that really quickly. You know. Cool. Let's move. Let's get to our last few points. Who was your star of the season? We have the same star. Give it to us.
Oh, interesting.
Ah,
Okay. I thought you were going to give a different reason for some reason. Um,
really? Okay, wait. Who do you think I was going to
yeah,
say is the star?
Echo.
I thought about it. Yes, I think he's number two, or at most one B to the other person's one
Yeah,
A.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Which I think
but
thematically,
yeah,
especially in this arc, is very evident.
yes, yeah, yeah. This arc is so much about him. Um, and I mean, he is the hero in terms of stopping Victor, getting Victor and Jace to the point where they have um their conversation and their togetherness. It's because of Echo pushing beyond. We should mention pushing beyond the limits of the 4 seconds. So his loop device has an initial 4 second timer. If you go beyond 4 seconds, things around it start to dismantle, right, and are shredded by time. And he gets caught up in Victor's soldiers. He gets caught in a little loop there where he's trapped and he can't escape. And then he's like, "Fuck it." And it looked like he went. It looked like he went like 10 seconds, and what like it's like, oh damn, you pushed it beyond. And yeah, he survives that and throws the device at Victor, disrupting his spell. Um, I lost my train of thought now. What was I saying? It just left me.
Him being the hero, the big
Oh
hero.
yes, yes, yeah. That act, yeah, that makes him the hero. And so I think naturally you'd be like, yeah, star of the season, this motherfucker. But Jinx's journey throughout the show, and Jinx's journey within this season, just damn, it's how can you not? And I think the performance of as well. Her name's Ella, right? Ella Pernell.
For now, yeah.
The performance of Pernell is everyone again. Everyone does a great job in this show, but that woman playing so many dimensions vocally, so many extremes, but then so many nuances within the extremes. Just the emotional performance and the emotional through line of Jinx's story. On top of her being an absolute fucking badass, on top of all of that, it's just like, yeah, no, this is the star of the show. She's just the. I feel like in season one, it's Vi who's the coolest, just aesthetically. Just yeah, Vi is fucking cool, and the way she's presented and just badass. But the cool factor as well of Jinx in this season is, I think, far above everything and everyone else. And so yeah, in more ways than one, she is the star of the show to me. Star of the season. Yeah, why is she your pick?
I have less cool reasons. Mine is literally just basically the third season is about Jinx. It's about her arc to redemption.
Yeah.
It's about her choices and about who people need her to be versus who she wants to be versus her inability to express that. And we kind of see the consequences of her declining to figure that out for herself. Um, and just her emotional journey is the one grounding feature of all three acts. Not to mention that she's the poster child for Arcane and League of Legends.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the moment that if there were any doubts, the moment that solidified her as the star of the season is that shot of her laying down in the dark with her hair spread out in this kind of web at the opening sequence of the episode, and that shot's just so it's so cool, but also conveys so much of her state of grief. And you're just like, yeah, we open with that shot of her in the last episode. This is our star, man. Okay, that's LeBron James. Okay, that's Lionel Messi. Okay, okay, that's our protagonist right there. Gosh
Yeah.
darn it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're at the end of the road, man. We've got one final segment that we need to get to. Segment we haven't had in a while because we covering a whole season, right, of television. Um, hey Val, I can hear Val. What's up, boy? Um, we have the fee rating system. Okay, it's back again. What's the fee rating system? It is an imaginary. Well, it's a literal, but also its conceptualization is imaginary. We're in a world where I don't know what I'm saying. We're in a world where Fear has the superpower to split herself. Right, singular Fee can split herself and add four more of herself, turning it into five Fears. These Fees go out into the world and experience life. And when they rejoin back into the prime fear, she gets to relive the experiences of all these fees throughout from the day they had, the week they have had, the year they've had, no matter how long they've been gone from her. She gets those lived experiences. And so, with that in mind, how many fees, would go out, she send out to go and watch Arcane? To bring back that number of experiences of watching Arcane. Give us your fee rating out of five, Fia.
So I think I gave season one 5 fees out of 5, right?
Mm, mm,
I have lots and lots of qualms with season two, as you've heard if
yes,
you've been listening along.
yes.
But with all of that in mind, my rating is still 4.5 fees.
Okay, so half of you would, one of you would only watch half or remember half. I always
Yeah,
like tripped up by the
sometimes you
half.
put something on in the back because you want a sense of comfort of something that you like, but you're not really paying attention because your brain is just going,
Mm,
"Meow, meow, 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 meow." Valentine knows what I'm
right.
talking about. That's all his brain does.
Ew.
So
Poor
that's
Val.
that's one of the watches.
Yeah.
that Fee would do. But I think despite like the very overwhelming amount of content that season two has, I think there's still incredible writing, incredible performance, incredible animation,
Mm,
and also
mm,
just so much to connect with that any lower would be a major crime.
yeah. Yeah, that's so much to connect with, resonates with me. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I have to agree with the fee rating. It isn't a 5 out of 5 for me, but yeah, 4.5 for all the reasons you've stated. God damn, we did it, man. We done did it. We fully covered Arcane seasons 1 and 2, and I'd say we did a great job because we're gangsters with
Yeah,
G's.
we did a
Let's
four
go.
out of five job.
Okay, cool, sweet. Okay, um, that's it, guys. We're out of here. We're in and we're out. We hope you've enjoyed this series of covering Arcane. We hope you join us for our next one. Just gonna no two ways about it. Just gonna say what it is, no waiting and no guessing. We're gonna be covering South African television series called Spinners. We will both be watching it for the first time. Um, Heard good things about it. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Join us next time for Spinners, which plays on a platform called Showmax here in South Africa, our own streaming platform, and that's the D we're gonna be doing. Okay. You excited, Fee?
I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous?
I've never seen Spinners. I've never heard about it because obviously I don't live there.
Mm,
So I don't know what I'm in for at all.
cool. I like that. I like that. Well, what's so nervy about that though?
Um, South African writing tends to be very melodramatic.
Hmm. We love our
Um,
telenovelas.
we definitely love our telenovelas. We're very, yeah, we are very, yeah, that's a great way of putting that. And so I tend not to enjoy South African things, but I don't want to be a hater because it's like the concept sounds really fun.
Hmm.
So I'm going in with an excited, if trepidatious mindset.
Yes. Okay. Nervous energy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It-
Why are you so silent? Okay. I feel like you're going, yeah, but I can't hear you. We will also hopefully be joined by a guest for at least the very first pod. Someone has agreed to come on. It'll be our first guest. Let's hope it works out. So just saying, hope it works out because in case life happens, things can happen. But yeah, we should have a guest for that first episode of that pod. So we hope you join us and we hope you enjoy it. But joysticks, thank you so much for being here and rolling with us. Okay, yes, Val. And see you next time. Say bye, Fee.
Bye, Fee. Bye,
I knew you were gonna do it.
Fee.
I was like, don't do it. Did you see my face? I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. And there she goes, bye, Fee. I don't know why I hate that so much because it's the type of thing I would do. Or maybe that's why I hate it so much. To the mirror, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
Yeah,
Oh.
and some of us have a touch of the tism, so we tend to absorb and mimic those that we love the most. So, Hlabi.
Okay. Wait, did you just okay? Bye. I feel like a shot was fired. I don't know. Bye.
No shots were fired. Just rubbing it in that I love you. You
Okay,
know,
if you say
with a bit
so.
of handy Andy.
Oh,
Amashushain.
Mr. Shine. Okay. Oh gosh.
Makiwi.
Okay.